Alright, hello there, and welcome to the Halls of Agony. This is Diablo 3. This is an Inferno challenge type run thing that I'm doing, where I'm doing a barbarian wrong. I'll have a second video to get into the particulars of what I'm doing, but basically I took a naked barbarian. I spent, in this case, 350,000 odd at the auction house to gear him completely, to a point where I can finish Act 1 of Inferno with 5 stacks and without all the things that I'm supposed to need as a barbarian. No revenge, no sword and board, no companion. Alright then, let's get stuck into Elite Pack number 1, who is a molten, electric, plagued guy with invulnerable minions. Not at all ideal for a barbarian to be fighting, but that's what we got. So there's going to be some kiting, but it's not true kiting like the sprint and weapon throw build would use. It's just a case of getting out for a bit when you're taking too much damage. Maybe wait for your cooldowns to come back, obviously starting with the Wrath of the Berserker and the Ignore Pain lets you put a whole bunch of damage down just to begin with, and then it just becomes a case of avoidance and cleanup. Now, bad situational awareness does almost kill me here. There's no good reason to go down a tight corridor like this when you're dealing with a mob that's dropping, in this case, molten and plagued. It almost kills me. The pot just saves me in time, and the life regen that's ticking away is enough to just get me up. Right until now, where loot blindness gets me killed by the exploding molten. It happens. Okay, and on to Elite Pack number 2. This time we're looking at shielded, desecrating, frozen, jailing bastards that have that massive swing that will pretty much one-shot me if they can land it on me. Once again, really not what you want to fight as a barbarian. Not having good luck with that at all, but let's see how we go. Okay, the Ignore Pain Wrath of the Berserker combo is enough to drop one down completely and get me out there just alive, letting those life regen things tick away before getting back into the actual mobs themselves. The charge, of course, provides a little bit more life, and now it's a case of getting damage in where I can when they're not shielded, and then getting out of there. So there's going to be, once again, a little bit of kiting. The shielding becomes a real problem because you just can't afford, especially with a mob that can do that, you can't afford to just stand there and wail on them because you're not even hitting them. Once again, backing off for a bit, letting those regens tick, knocking them back with a seismic slam, and then rinse and repeat that until they drop. Now, you've probably noticed that I'm using the charge to get out of situations where I get jailed, especially if I get jailed like so on a desecration. It's one of the most useful parts of that ability. The fact that you pause at the end of it is a bastard, but the ability to heal yourself with it and the mobility that it gives you to get you out of bad situations, it makes it worthwhile, I think. So 2 down so far. Just this last one to go, and that should be stack number 2. Okay, and then moving onwards. And pack number 3, continuing our bad luck. This time we've got molten and fire chains, as well as shielding and vortex. These guys actually killed me once. When my computer started to do this weird freezing up thing, and my frame rates dropped, so there's no real footage of it for the same reason. So this is my second attempt at them. Once again, there goes the Wrath of the Berserker and the Ignore Pain. There's a charge getting me health back, and now just picking them all off with the seismic slam. Now the vortex almost kills me there, but I saw the health pot, or the health globe, so I picked that up and continue on with the whole knockback using the seismic slam, use the charge to get out of bad situations, and kill them all off. And once again, just about die to the molten explosion after they die, because I can just never remember to get out of it. Once those yellows drop, I'm in there. And onwards to a particularly bad pull on pack number 4. We end up with a whole bunch of skeletons along for the ride, and we're dealing with jailer, shielded, plagued, teleporting guys. Honestly, this one's a bit of a cakewalk compared to the others. The mobs have nothing particularly bad about them. The Wrath of the Berserker Ignore Pain combo drops 1 in seconds, and I can basically ignore the plagued. It's nowhere near as bad as Molten or Fire Chains or anything like that. They drop pretty easily, even with the additional skeletons shooting me. I think I do sort them out coming up here. I charge in and kill most of them with one seismic slam, and then just clean up everyone left. And then that's the last of them dying. As you can see, the lag is starting to kick in. Welcome to video gaming in Australia. Now, I had no luck finding a 5th pack to finish off my stacks before I fought the Warden, so I popped back to the Cemetery of the Forsaken, found some desecrating, vampiric, molten, nightmarish fat dudes, and just got my last stack on them. Relatively easy fight, really. Nightmarish can cause some problems, but it's easy enough to deal with. It's not as bad as some of the other affixes. The little worms that come out are nice to heal with using the charge. And one more slam, I think, which I do not have the rage for. There we go, slam to clean up. And that's 5 stacks. On to the Warden. And here we are, setting off the Warden, waiting around for him to actually show up to the fight, take out some of the little guys in the meantime. This is a really simple fight. The Warden doesn't really have anything going for him at all. He summons a bunch of little guys which I can clear out without too much trouble. I do get caught in a bad jail right here, which I used a pot for. Probably had other options, just pot was the first thing I hit. Bit of a waste of gold, but there's enough gold on the floor to make it not really much of an issue. And then once he's just alone, I can pretty much just go toe to toe with him. Nice simple kill. Couple of free rares. Now these guys, as we move down to level 3 of the Halls of Agony, are another matter entirely. The first problem is that they are molten, illusionist, fire chain, fast. That's not a good start. They're also a mob that can damn near one-shot me with a good hit. And then my lag started playing up something cruel. The first death is on fire, for God's sake. These guys will kill me a few more times. Some of them are my fault, some of them are unavoidable. And there goes my phone. I think I took one of them out already. No, that's the first one I've killed. So now I've only got to deal with 2. I did, of course, once again, forget that molten guys explode. One of these days I'll remember that, but it is not this day. So I come back and I don't even have Warcry up yet, which is a little bit of a worry. But not as much of a worry as this. I get one hit in, try and move out, and then explode. Looking in slow motion, he didn't even actually finish his swing before he blew me up. And now they're both back to full, so we're starting from scratch. Although at least we're only fighting 2 and not 3 of them. I'm playing a bit smarter now. The lag's kicked in, it's yellow. I think it was about 600 and something milliseconds at this point. So I'm dodging around, cleaning them up with the seismic slams, getting out of trouble, letting those health regen tick away, and just getting them down by attrition. One good thing about Illusionist is you can heal off the illusions with a charge, and they go down really easily once you hit them with a good seismic slam like so. There's that pause on the charge almost killing me again. It's still kind of new at that skill. I'll get used to it eventually, but it is a little bit of a bitch. A lot of dancing around these guys. Apparently I froze him there with my weapon. I sort of didn't even realise it had a freeze effect on it, but something does. And then one down. And the second to follow. Okay, and now we've found the Butcher. We've still got our 5 stack up, and this one is sped up because, spoiler alert, it's a failed attempt, and honestly, it was kind of funny and fast forward. The general tactic here is to beat him down when I've got Wrath of the Berserker, try and avoid him. The Butcher himself is really not much of a problem except for that grab slam combo. The real problem is the fire on the ground. The secondary problem was the lag and the server issues, which you'll see at the end of this. The fight itself was going pretty well. There were a couple of hairy moments, but I was wearing him down okay, getting out of the fire with a charge when I could, popping Wrath of the Berserker. So I ended up getting him so close, didn't quite make it to that. And then I noticed that things weren't responding properly, and then I noticed that I couldn't go into anything or teleport, and then the server went down. And then I rage quit for a while, came back in when the server went back up, went through the effort of getting 5 stacks again, which I didn't record because I'd already recorded the first lot, and back to the Butcher, same gear, 5 stacks, same skills, second attempt. Now, the vast amount of the damage is going to come from the usual Wrath Ignore Pain combo. You can just go toe to toe with him when those are both up. Means the fight goes for about a little over 2 minutes at most, because the first Wrath Ignore Pain combo gets him under half. You can pick him off as you go through, but the vast majority of what you want to be doing is just trying to mitigate problems. Don't get hit by that, don't get stuck in fire. The damage that you do when you don't have Wrath of the Berserker up on a boss like this it's alright, but it's not that important. Not if I can just wait out 2 minutes, keep myself up, keep myself alive, pick him down a little bit as I go, and once Wrath comes back, cement a definite kill. So we'll speed the dance up for a bit. Mostly avoidance. Throw in the odd hit if you can. Those little ticks of life regen are keeping me up quite nicely. There's a couple of little hairy moments where I get caught in a bad position or get slammed by that, but the healing well sorts me out. And then Wrath comes back, and it's back to toe to toe. Honestly, once you've got Wrath and Ignore Pain up, he just can't hurt you, as you can see. And there we go. From naked to a 5 stack Inferno Butcher kill, using 350k of gold, no revenge, not using defensive passives, not using sword and board, and not using a companion at all. Now, of course, people are going to be out there and they're going to be saying the usual stuff, which is, well, Act 1's easy, I've got it on farm, but I can't do Act 2, you'll never get through Act 2 doing the same thing, and I plan to. I'll release that in the future, but once I do that, it'll switch to, yeah, we'll try Act 3, once I do that, it'll switch to try Act 4, welcome to Blizzard games, basically. But the fact of the matter is, people in general have, I mean, they've barely scratched the surface of Diablo 3, and someone found one build that worked, and everyone's just calling it gospel. It's not the case. Other builds are going to come up. Other gear sets are going to come up. People are going to figure out different ways of doing this. It's been out for under a month. Of course, it's not figured out yet. And if you're interested, I should have a link hopefully up on the screen to a video where I should be talking about the build and the gear itself and proving that I bought it all for X amount of money. And I may do some other videos in the future of similar ideas, different ways to do things. We've seen a hell of a lot of tanking, revenge, spamming barbarians, but not too much on the other builds, or the theory crafting on the other builds. And it's nice to have some of that variety in the information that's out there and in the game itself. I think it's there, other people don't. We'll see what happens.